Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And once again, double honors go out to the apostles and elders, all right, of Great Millstone, who through the Holy Spirit continue to teach us this knowledge and wisdom of the Holy Scriptures, all right. This is Nama of the DC camp, and for the last at least couple of days here, this board member, all right, is in hot water for what she said. But my question is, was she telling the truth? And we know how the truth is to these devils, all right? Anyway, it says San Francisco school board member said Asian Americans use white supremacist thinking to get ahead, quote unquote, all right, in old tweets. All right, and this is from nextsharp.com. All right, and the question, yeah. And the answer is, of course they do. They always have. All right. And this goes just to show, or more evidence, I should say, that who we are. And everybody is our enemy. All right. Derogatory tweets by the vice president of San Francisco's Board of Education have recently surfaced, prompting several San Franciscans to push for her resignation, of course. Resurfaced tweets. This is what they do with the truth, all right? What else can you say? I mean, it speaks for itself, all right? Wow. In fact, while I'm thinking of it, it just crossed my mind. Let me get that. Because these people hate the truth. Let's see, this is Psalms 85. This is Psalms chapter 85, verse 11. Salak you there. It says, truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. All right. It says, yea, the Most High Yahweh shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the way of his steps. And that's the thing that they're trying to prevent, because they see this uprising, all right. They're seeing the real nation of Israel being restored, all right, as was promised in Amos 9, verses 11 on down, all right. Each one of us is a brick, all right, and building that house, all right. They can't stand it, all right. They're literally shaking in their boots, and you can see all these things are taking place. The events that are happening now, all right, in an effort to at least slow this down. They can't stop it. They're just trying to buy time, all right. And all of our enemies are coming out of the woodworks. And these so-called Asians here, in particular, she's talking about these she's talking about Moab here, all right. And we all know that, you know, when we all grew up, they're supposed to be the best students, whatever. And come to find out just a few years ago, they got caught cheating. This was, I forget the exact story how it went, but yeah. Of course, so much attention is paid or goes toward trying to keep our people down. And they took advantage of that. It's just like when a group of us, or even one of us, goes into a store, it's automatically attention is focused on us. And when I went back to school years ago, I remember one of my professors, he had told a story about him and some friends of his went into this store. And so much attention was focused on them. What happened was the guy was facing them as the group, and they're looking past the guy that's focused on him, the guy that was running the store, and the white guy behind him was stuffing stuff in his pockets and shit. See, and that's what they do. That's a prime example of that. I just thought about that. Yeah, So yeah, they've learned over the years how to, yeah, of course, you got to consider Esau lets them run, their businesses in our neighborhoods and uh, all these other nations, uh, and therefore the money leaves. It doesn't stay in our communities. All right, they just use us, so our people, to make profit for themselves. All right, it's so sad when you think about it. Anyway, continuing on, I didn't mean to rant, Salaki. But it says resurfaced tweets. In a series of tweets from 2016, Vice President Allison Collins shared anti-Asian American sentiments. All right, Collins, who was elected to the San Francisco Unified School District Board in 2018, took to Twitter on December 4, 2016 to complain about Asian Americans who do not call out anti-black racism. She wrote that many Asian Americans use white supremacist thinking to assimilate to get ahead, while many Asian Americans believe they benefit from the model minority BS. Collins allegedly wrote these tweets as a concerned parent hoping to combat anti-black racism in the Asian community and at her daughter's mostly Asian American schools. And yet they continually make fun of us in various media mediums, all right, all the time, especially over there. The commercials and uh, other forms of entertainment. So, like, to hell with them. It says continuing on, it says members of the Recall school board group shared Collins' tweets on social media on Thursday as part of an attempt to have her and other board members resign. The group wrote, Commissioner Collins appears biased against Asian Americans. Is one of several reasons to recall. Now, you notice all this time, you remember what prompted the LA riots. One of them was the incident that happened not long before that of a young Jake girl that was shot in the back of the head by a so-called Asian store owner. And all she got was probation. The girl had the money for what she's supposedly shoplifted for in her hand when she died. All right. And yet all she got was probation. See, it's these things that over time animosity builds up, especially in our neighborhood. And it's never just one thing. It's a whole host of things, and it just reaches a boiling point. All right. And these mother effers, all right, who just, well, it's not just them, but all these other quote unquote minorities that come over here, they ride our coattails. And our so-called leaders are so stupid, all right, they allow them to do this. And the only ones that prosper are them and not us. I remember that line, I think he was Korean, but whatever, in Get Out, when they were talking to, what's the actor's name? He and his Edomite girlfriend, it was a group of them standing in front of him, and this, again, I think he was Korean. He was just asking him, he says, well, what about the black experience? Well, this is the thing, you're experiencing just a little bit of it in a very short amount of time, and you can't take it. All right, you're experiencing what we've been going through all along. All right, and look at you. Oh well. But I just thought about that line from Get Out, that question that Moabite asked. All right. It says Collins argues that her tweets were taken out of context. She did not mention resigning nor acknowledge that her words were racist. All right. Continuing on down. But yeah, that's what they do. Let's get some more scriptures on Moab, because we know this is a proud devil. So we're going to go out. I didn't mean to take this long. This is Jeremiah chapter 49. Whoop. I have to go. I went too far. 48. it says, against Moab, thus the Most High Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, woe unto Nebo, for it is spoiled. Kiriathim is confounded and taken, Misgab is confounded and dismayed. There shall be no more praise of Moab, and Heshbon, they have devised evil against it. Come, and let us cut it off from being a nation. Also thou shalt be cut down, O madmen, the sword shall pursue thee. All right, so we're going to skip on down. All right, 11, it says, Moab hath been at ease from his youth. All right, because you got some out there that will think, well, this was a prophecy that was fulfilled back. Okay, whatever. It says, Moab hath been at ease from his youth, and hath been settled on his lees, and hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel, neither hath he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remained in him, and his scent is not changed. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Most High Yahweh, that I will send unto him wanderers, that shall cause him to wander, and shall empty his vessels, and break their bottles. And Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, that's their god, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How say ye, we are mighty and strong men of war? Moab is spoiled and gone up out of her cities, and his chosen young men are come down to the slaughter, saith the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. The calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasteth fast. All right, now let's go real quick, because in the Apocrypha, when we go to 2nd Ezra, I'm on down here. Let's go to 15. Start around 46. It says, because they really think that they're the next, well, they are a superpower now, but they think that they are the next to rule. All right. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 46, and it says, and thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, because you go to their cities, what do they look like? They look like American cities. They've taken on American customs. All right. It says, and art the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. And we know that Babylon is America, the daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great. All right. And hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her, that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith the Most High Yahweh. All right, and that's coming about because when we read Revelation 17, all right, and it goes all the way down to verses 15 and 16, the point being, well, 18 too, might as well, up until about verse 5. All right, all these nations, all right, they followed your philosophies and doctrines. Now they're mad because, all right, they found out what you were really about. And what you're really about is death. All right, but it's too late. All right, so now all they, this, it's just gotten completely out of hand, but so much damage has been done. All right, and now you're dragging people even deeper because with this monetary system, all right, and they're figuring out what it's just going to be abject slavery, and that's what's going to cause eventually, all right, 17 and verses 15 and 16, all right, this place is going to be blown to smithereens, as they used to say. All right, verse 49, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. All right, and the glory of the power shall be dried up as flour, when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee, the missiles. All right, so that's what's coming. You want to take on the ideals, all right, of a people that the Most High, the God of Israel, hates. Well, you're going to get that smoke, literally, all right? So, I mean, you can't blame anybody. This is something you did. And the way you've treated her people, too. All right, so that's all the time I'm going to spend on that. Wow, again, this school board member just went in on these Moabites, all right, these so-called Asians, uh, and she told the truth. That's what they've always done. And here our people continually march for pieces of shit like this, all right, not realizing, all right, because of the ignorance. There's no excuse for that, but at the end of the day, that's what they were set up to do. These are our so-called leaders, our shepherds that don't have our best interests at heart. All right. So, hey, with that, I hope whoever views this is edified. Uh, Once again, I got to say, hey, you found out, I'm going back to that quote from that Korean and the movie Get Out. He says, I'm trying to remember, did he say he wanted to know about the black experience or something to that quote? I can't remember the exact verbiage verbatim, but, well, you're experiencing it, a little of it, all right? So with that, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakwadash. And of course, once again, double honors go out to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. You see me looking out, it's raining, really, really hard. All right, so with that, hey, shalom.